Hello, y'all. We're gonna make some macaroni and cheese. We're gonna start with some cheese, some what is this called? Campbell's soup cheddar cheese. Now you know me. I gotta scrape all the bottom. We're gonna take our little tiny utensil, get all of the cheese out. Now this is delicious and nutritious for the kids back at home. I like to just kind of give this a little stir before I add all of the other cheese to it. It's going to be super cheesy. We're going to add 3 different kinds of cheese to this today. Your kids, your whole family is going to love it. Let's get this little rogue macaroni out. It's got to come back home to us. All right. And now we're going to go with our second layer of cheese. It's going to be some mild cheddar. You could use sharp if you wanted to. Could use marble, but I like mild. It comes out good. Now this is really cheesy. We're gonna add 2 packages of this cheese. So we're gonna get this one out of the way first. Give it a good stir. Look at that. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to taste this. Are y'all mac and cheese fans out there? Give us a like if you're a mac and cheese fan. I am a super mac and cheese fan. Oh, I like it all kinds of ways. Baked, bechamel sauce, even Kraft. I ain't gonna lie to you. Out the box, you know, the kind that you give the kids. Well, I give my kids fancy mac and cheese. So we're gonna go with the second bag of this. But we're not gonna add the whole bag. I'm gonna go with only like a half of it because we're going to want to add some at the top. And then we're going to go with some Parmesan cheese. Now, I would not go with grated. This is the shredded. You could have fresh if you wanted. But if you use the grated, like the kind that we use on spaghetti and stuff, it is not going to have the same melting and texture that we are looking for. All right, so once again, we're going to just give this a nice little stir. Get it all nice and incorporated. Don't worry, once we add the liquid to it, it is going to be so creamy and delicious. Just trust the process. All right. So now we're going to move on to our roux. We're going to start with unsalted butter. We're going to use a whole half a stick of it. Get that going. And then you're going to take a half a cup of flour, all-purpose flour. Get that going. And what you want to do is let the butter, ooh, look at that, the pan was hot. Let the butter and the flour start cooking so that you cook away all of that flour taste. That is the really reason why we cook the flour and when we make a roux, is because you want to get rid of all of that floury taste. And it is, you know, replace it with butter. How can you be mad at that? Now, while it's all cooking down, you kind of want to leave it at a pale. You don't want it to get golden brown. I know if you're used to making a gravy, you're going to be used to getting it to be a golden brown, but for mac and cheese, the mac and cheese roux, you do not want it to get golden brown. And in fact, the longer you cook your flour, the less of the thickening power it has. So if it gets too dark, it gives it lots of beautiful flavor, but it won't be all thick and creamy. Okay, so we got that going. Now we're going to flavor this. We're going to do a little bit of salt. Because remember, we didn't use, we had unsalted butter. So just a little bit of salt. Sea salt goes a long way. And then fresh cracked pepper. Now, I like to go heavy on the pepper. I like pepper. I think it's delicious and nutritious and almost everything. Just one more. Just because I like it. We're going to add a little bit of, about a half a teaspoon of dry mustard. Some people do add just like prepared mustard. I'm not a fan. Ooh, that was a little bit more. Don't worry about it. When we add the cream, it's going to be all good. I'm not a fan of doing the, and then, before I add it, let's do some onion powder. That's going to give it a nice flavor. I cook with love, so with onion and garlic, I really don't measure because those are deliciousness of life, right? Now back to the prepared mustard. If you use prepared mustard, be prepared that it is also going to have a little bit of vinegar to it. It's not just like the basic of the mustard, it's going to be vinegary. All right, so now we're going to add some heavy cream, about a 1/4 cup. I'm going to add 3. Give that a nice stir. You're going to see that the flour immediately starts to take it on. I wish we had smell-o-vision. I know I say that often, but it is. If y'all could just smell how good it smells in here. Now we're going to take some whole milk. We're going to use about it. Now the recipe calls for a cup. But I'm pretty sure I use more than a cup. Like, I think I go with like a cup, maybe a cup and a half, 2 cups. Because we want it to get super creamy. Now see how that thickened up nice and good? Now you want all of that cream. Now you're going to take it off the heat. I'm going to turn this thing off. You're going to take it off the heat. And you're going to add it to your delicious mac and cheese prepared over here. Now always use a prepared pan. Remember folks, you got to use that. Now we're going to take it, give it a nice couple more stirs. And we're going to pour this all over. My pan is super big. Now, you do not want to add the cheese to your mixture while it is cooking. If you do, it'll separate and it will not be the delicious goodness that you are expecting. I'm not quite sure why it separates. But those of you who have ever done it, like I have, through trial and error, you know it does separate. Okay, so now we're going to get this all going in. Do you hear that at least? That creaminess. Love it. Love that sound. It means goodness is on its way. Maybe a couple calories too. I mean, but when we're talking about this kind of deliciousness. All right. Now the noodles are already been cooked. Some of you at home might cook it to al dente, so you'll need to cook your noodles for a little bit longer. You might even want to add a little bit more liquid, but I cooked my noodles all the way for the interest of time here at the studio. Now again, we're going to add the last little final layer of cheese right here on top. So I'm not going to end up cooking it. Normally you'd probably cook it for like 40 minutes until everything is like super bubbly and brown, but because my noodles are all the way baked, as soon as this cheese gets brown, it's going to be done. All right, the last little bit of cheese, and here you go. See you in a little while. All right, y'all, look at this. See how the cheese came out all bubbly and goldeny brown, delicious. So we're gonna go ahead and give it a little try. Oh, it sounds so good. I love the way food sounds. See how nice and creamy it is? Nice and hot. All right, let's give it, even with my bum tooth that still hasn't gotten fixed yet, we're gonna give it a try. Ready? 1, 2, and 3. It's hot. I put my foot in that thing, y'all. Those of you who know what it is, what that means, y'all know. I hope y'all enjoy.